United States, immediate arrangements were made to whisk him off and to ensure his safe departure. Security arrangements at the airport were just as tight as it was during his court appearance this morning. Kirk Wright was at the Norman Manley Airport.
As soon as Christopher Coke waived his rights to face the courts in Jamaica, a Learjet touched down at the Norman Manley International Airport to take him away. The intense security all around the airport with soldiers just about everywhere ensured DUDUS was safe while still in the jurisdiction of the Jamaican government. A JDF helicopter approaching the airport carried Coke straight to the waiting jet. U.S. Marshals and their private security personnel stood by and watched as he approached. Coke exited the helicopter carrying a white bag and surrounded by heavily armed JDF soldiers who took him into an office at their base to do final paperwork before his departure to the States. By this time, almost all of the activities at that section of the airport had stopped and everyone came out to get a glimpse of the reputed Don. It was a cat-and-mouse game between the media and security personnel who tried to block the cameras from getting images of Kirk.
Man, go in your vehicle and leave. Pressure with man, we keep telling you. And the thing about it,
it didn't take long before they slipped him out of the office and into the aircraft for takeoff. There were no final farewell, hugs or kisses for DUDUS as the aircraft carrying him taxied down the runway for takeoff. In about 4 hours, he would be in the hands of a foreign government. Kirk Wright, TVJ News.
And the United States Attorney's Office in the Southern District of New York issued a statement late this evening confirming that DUDUS has indeed arrived on American soil. The statement notes that DUDUS will face a Manhattan court tomorrow. His case has been assigned to U.S. District Judge Robert P. Patterson and prosecuted by Assistant U.S. Attorneys Joycelyn Strauber and John Zack. The U.S. Attorney's Office notes that Coke faces a mandatory minimum of 10 years up to a maximum sentence of life in prison if he is convicted on the narcotics charge. The gun charges bring a maximum sentence of 5 years. The U.S. Attorney sought to assure that the charges contained in the indictment are merely accusations and that the defendant is presumed innocent unless and until proven guilty.
Nicole Hills McGann now takes a look at what will happen now that DUDUS is in the hands of the Americans.
After he lands, DUDUS is expected to face a magistrate in the Manhattan federal court at any time where he'll answer to charges that he headed an illegal transnational trade of cocaine, ganja and weapons between Jamaica and the U.S. In the company of his lawyer, whether privately contracted or provided by the Office of the Public Defender, Coke will be read the 4-1 charges against him. Following that, he'll then proceed to a bond hearing or what's commonly referred to as a bail hearing. There are, however, several criteria to qualify for bail.
Whether the person is a flight risk, is a danger to society, and the nature of the crimes for which the person is being charged.
After the bail hearing, DUDUS and his lawyers will then have the opportunity to review the 4-1 charges being laid against him. He can then proceed to enter a plea or fight the charges.
If DUDUS decides to enter a plea bargain, he will have to plead guilty or no contest to the charges. In exchange, the U.S. government might drop the charges, reduce the sentencing, or ask the court to go below the sentencing guidelines. But in entering a plea, there are several stages.
If you plea up front, it's most likely the most helpful plea for you because you'll get the most lenient type of consideration. And if you cooperate, that will enhance your ability to reduce your sentence over time. If you plea straight to the judge without an agreement with the government, you're basically at the mercy of what the judge is going to decide based on the statutory guidelines and without the benefit of the judge being told that you cooperated with the government, because that really goes a far way in terms of your sentencing.
But if DUDUS decides to go to trial, pleads not guilty, and there are witnesses in the case, the defense won't be able to know who they are until a short time before trial. The American attorney explains that in federal cases, if the prosecution decides to use witnesses, the defense doesn't have to know this until shortly before trial. The defense is also not allowed to question witnesses before trial. However, Coke's legal team can file a motion against the prosecution if it chooses.
As far as due process, he will have the opportunity to go before the court, and if he so chooses to proceed to trial, there will be a jury selection process, and from the jury selection process, of course, the subsequent trial. But it's a pretty structured system as far as the federal court is concerned. So, he will have his day in court.
Nicole Hales-McGowan, TVJ News.